Hey again and welcome to a new video. So in this video I want to talk about the new champion Yagorath and tell you what I think about her and what are my first impressions about her. So first of all, Yagorath is a frontline champion and has a maximum HP of 6500 HP, and first I heard it, I was like, well, this is pretty strong, and I still think it's pretty strong because it's the highest base HP we have in the game. So even Rom without his armor has a lower HP pool. So this is pretty high. But I think it's understandable if you see her different forms or her appearance. So because she has two different forms. The one form is called the planted form, where she's basically just standing still. So she stands still, she can't move, she's just standing there, putting out damage or eating damage. So that's why she needs a lot of HP, and to make it easier for her to survive or something, because she can't move, she has a little bit of damage reduction in her base loadout, in her base kit, and she also has a little bit of CC immunity or CC reduction. They didn't really talk about it, so we need to wait until PDS is up to actually see how much damage reduction she has in base and what kind of CC immunity or reduction she has in base. So in every form she has, so in the planted form, in the travel form, she has different abilities to use. The primary fire in her planted form is called Caustic Spray. While using Caustic Spray, you spray acid from your maw, dealing 48 damage every 0.1 seconds. Hitting the ground leaves behind a pool of acid that lasts 4 seconds. Has a range of 90 units and a maximum of 6 pools placed at once. So I can't tell how much the damage actually is, but in the video it looks like she's shredding Cassie really fast. So it seems to me like dealing a lot of damage in addition to her right click, but I will talk about it later. So you can actually use this for zoning to spray flank routes or something where enemies are coming from, or just to put pressure on the point and just put out some consistent damage, so to say. And I feel like her reload time after shooting all her assets, so to say, is really quick. So there's just a little bit of downtime of your primary fire. Her alt fire in her planted form is called Piercing Quill. Fire out a Piercing Quill every 0.15 seconds, dealing 170 damage on hit and exploding for 50 damage in a small area shortly after. Hitting an enemy affected by acid spray will increase the damage they take from all resources by 10% for 3 seconds, and has a maximum of 8 charges. So I feel like this is what is really strong about her. So she increases the damage your enemy takes if you hit your right click into your left click, so to say. So if they're standing in your asset pool and you hit your right click, you increase all sources of damage by 10%. So it doesn't matter what kind of damage. It doesn't matter if it's an ult damage, if it's just primary damage from your DPS player or your healer or whatever. So you increase the damage they take from all sources by 10%, and I feel like this is pretty strong. It's something we don't even have in the game currently. So even if you take damage buff by Jenna, so the luminary buff, it's just affecting one player or two players. It depends on how many marks you have out. But here for Yagorath, you affect every player. So this is really strong to increase the damage you or your enemy actually hits. So I feel like this is pretty strong. So if you can play around it or do it correctly, I think this is a really strong ability. So her first ability in her planted form is called Hardening. Hunker down for up to 4 seconds, increasing your base damage reduction by 25%. After this ability ends, deal damage to enemies within 25 units based on the duration of the ability. Base damage is 300 and maximum damage is 1100. You cannot be stunned while this ability is active, can refire to cancel early. So you can decide how long you want to be in your hardening form or in your hunker form, so to say, to decide how long of damage reduction you want to have. So maybe you just want to want to activate it to be more tanky against an ult or something, or you just want to wait the whole duration so to deal a great amount of damage at once or something. So you actually can decide when you want to exit this form, and I think which is also pretty strong. So it's written that you increase your base damage reduction by 25%. So you have base damage reduction and gain another 25% of damage reduction. Seems pretty good to me. And which is even stronger is that you can't really get stunned in this ability. So you can counter other CC while using or when using this form. Her second ability is called Form Swap. Swap between your planted and travel forms, gaining access to a new set of abilities. In planted form, you are unable to move. Swapping forms is not affected by cripple. So as I said before, while you're using your planted form, you can't move. And I think which is also pretty good about her is that her movement ability, kind of movement ability, so her F, I think it's the F key, is not affected by cripple. So you can swap around every time your cooldown is up. So we don't know how long the cooldown is and stuff, but I feel like if this is a short cooldown, this is pretty strong. So you can roll around or swap around the whole time if you want. So you get in, you're standing still or whatever, you're afraid you're getting an damage, swap back. Even if you're crippled by, I don't know, Shaolin or something, it doesn't matter because you still can swap on. I feel like this is pretty strong because you can't really cripple this champion, or she's so tanky against CC and stuff. So after swapping to her travel form, I want to talk about her abilities in her travel form. Her primary fire in her travel form is called Trail of Acid. Drop a series of 5 acid pools behind you as you roll. Acid pools, each pool deals 33 damage every 0.25 seconds and slows enemies affected by 15%. So you also spray a little bit of acid, but you deal a little bit of less damage, but therefore you actually slow the enemy. So maybe this is even better to zone because you can roll out to the spawn and spray around the spawn or something, dismount them, slow them, or even if you don't want to zone, just in a normal fight, slow them. It's so strong to slow the enemy and make it easier for your team to actually deal damage because they are slowed. You have the movement advantage, so this is pretty strong, I think. Her alt fire in her true form is called Acceleration. Charge forward for 4 seconds, hitting an enemy will deal 500 damage and apply a knockback. It cannot be cancelled. So you activate your right click because you can't mount. So maybe if you're running out of spawn, you use your right click to shot yourself forward to be faster. And while using this form, you actually can knock back enemies. So if you're not using the alt fire, you actually just run or roll into the enemies. But if you use your right click, you actually can roll through them, so to say, and deal 500 damage. So they can't body block you with this or using this ability. Her first ability in her travel form is called Primal Vision. Let out a series of 5 pulses that briefly reveal enemies within 150 units to yourself and your team. I think this is really strong. So this is basically a Cassie ult with lower range on it, but with probably a even lower cooldown because it's not an ult ability. So ult abilities has kind of the longest cooldowns in the game. So it makes sense because it's supposed to be the strongest ability. But this one reveals where the enemy is as an ability, so to say. So I feel like this is pretty strong just to tell your team, well, not even tell your team also see this. So it's not only for you, it's also for your team to see where the enemies are. You can see where they start to come from, where they may be backing up to or something. So this is a really good tool to tell what the enemy wants to do or something. Her ultimate ability is called Devourer. Target an enemy to start pulling them to you, swapping your current health for a new 4000 health pool. Your target is immune to damage and crowd control and cannot move during this process, but can still fire their weapon at you. If your health pool is depleted before they are devoured, you drop your target. Otherwise, they are executed. Can only be used in planted form. So this is really strong. I mean, I don't like that it's another execute ability, ultimate ability, but how it's written there, I think you can just eat everyone. It doesn't matter how much HP they have, so it's not going for a percentage. So for Warrior, for example, you only execute if they are below 65%. But here, it seems to me like you can eat maybe a Rom being full HP, having full armor. You just use your ultimate and eat all his HP at once, which is pretty strong. And I mean, you get the lower health pool, but it's still a lot. Like 4000 HP is a lot. Remember, Barrack just got buffed to 4000 HP, and you know how long it takes to actually kill him, even without using abilities. So 4000 HP is still a lot, and it's so good to just kill someone, because it's so hard for the enemy team to focus all their damage onto you to kill you, because 4000 is so much that most targets being pulled into you can't kill you in time. So maybe big game Cassie, but I don't know. So this is so strong, and I don't even know if this is like a CC. I hope it is, so you can counter it with CC immunity or something. But this seems so strong to me. So her base kit seems so strong. She has a lot of HP. She has base damage reduction. She has base CC immunity or reduction. She's so tanky. Her damage seems so much. So in the video where she's spraying her acid onto Cassie and killing her with her right click or something, it's so fast. So it looks like she did so much damage. Her ult seems so strong. Her reveal seems so strong. She can move around so quickly. So I feel like this champion is really, really strong, or even overpowered. So we definitely need to try the champion out. But I feel like the champion is so strong. So her talents. The first talent, the default talent, is corrosive acid. Augment your acid, increasing the damage done by caustic spray to 48. The damage of acid pools to 40, and increase the movement speed of allies within your acid pools by 20%. So I'm not quite sure how this is supposed to work, because her general damage on her caustic spray is already 48. So maybe it's a little mistake or something. But I just think you increase the damage. Maybe 48 is the wrong number, or in her main description is the wrong number. It doesn't matter. So you increase your damage of your spray and your pool you leave behind. So you also increase the movement speed of your allies. So just give your allies a little bit of buff when they're playing on the point, maybe, and you spray on the point or something. So I think this is just great to give a little bit more of, yeah, I don't know, like utility or something. The next legendary unlocked by level 2 is Side Baggate's Strength. Allies within range of your Primal Vision gain a stackable 100 health shield and a 15% increased movement speed for 4 seconds each time you pulse. So you can stack up, I think you throw out 5 pulses, stack up to 500 HP shield, which is okay, and 15% increased movement speed. I think this one doesn't stack up, so still a lot of movement speed increase and a little bit of HP buff. I don't know how good this is actually, because I don't know how long the cooldown is. So it sounds good to me if you have like a short cooldown, but then the ability would be really, really strong if you have a short cooldown. So if not, so I don't know if it's worth it running this. And the last legendary unlocked at level 8 is Unnatural Persistence. Here for 25 every 0.25 seconds while on an objective, and for 1 second after leaving the objective. This effect increases the longer you maintain it, up to 65 every 0.25 seconds. So this in general sounds good to me. I have no idea how great the heal actually feels. So the lowest it goes is, if you count it together, it's 100 heal for every second. But I actually don't know how strong this actually feels. But in theory or something, it sounds really good. So maybe this is more like a tank, main tank or point tank option to go. But it still sounds great to me. So I want to talk about the cards, because I don't know about cooldowns and stuff, so I don't know how they really affect it. But I will probably test some cards out and talk about the cards later on when PDS is up, so I know how long the cooldowns are. I also want to talk about the CC immunity or damage reduction, how much it is when PDS is up. And I also would like to play on PDS, so stay tuned for later gameplay. So that's basically it for Yagorath. I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me what do you think about her, but I think she's pretty strong. I'm kind of hyped to play her, to test her out, to actually see how strong she really feels. But I think she could be so much fun, so just hope to get PTS up as soon as possible. And please try PTS out. Tell the devs what you think, what they could improve, or what you don't like about the new champion, obviously, and the other changes. So the balance changes as well. So thank you for watching. I hope you had a great day, and I hope you still have a great day. And always remember, don't forget, you guys are awesome.